The name of Deputy Maureen O'Sullivan has been taken by Deputy Dail. Minister to respond, please.
Thank you, Count Corla. All exporters of dogs are required to provide the following animal health and welfare certification in relation to compliance with identification requirements, fitness for intended journey, health status, rabies vaccination requirements. Once these animal certifications requirements are met, dogs, including greyhounds, may be exported internationally. Exporters are also required to comply with the provisions of the Council Regulation EC No. 1 of 2005 on the protection of animals during transport. I'm aware that a very small number of greyhounds have been exported to Macau in the past 2 months. I understand that Bord na Gán, which is responsible for the governance, regulation and development of the greyhound industry in the Republic and the well-being of greyhounds, has developed a code of practice in relation to the welfare of greyhounds, which sets out specific standards that all individuals engaged in the care and management of registered greyhounds are expected to meet. The code emphasises that owners and keepers must take full responsibility for the physical and social well-being of greyhounds in line with best welfare practice. Oversight mechanisms in place regarding greyhound exports include interagency cooperation, cooperation with fellow members of the International Greyhound Forums, and intelligence and information which is received from welfare officers during the course of investigations carried out under the Welfare of Greyhounds Act of 2011. Where any breaches of welfare standards are identified under that Act, Bord na Gán takes stringent actions and prosecutions ensure in accordance with the Act. Officials of my department have recently met with Bord na Gán and the welfare members of the International Greyhound Forum, represented by the ISPCA and Dogs Trust here in Ireland, to consider the issues surrounding the export of greyhounds. Bord na Gán advises all owners involved in the export of greyhounds to only export to destinations with high animal welfare standards, and that they provide the expected levels of greyhound care and management as defined under the code internationally, and I endorse this view. I should point out, however, that international trade takes place in a very legally complex environment, and that national legislation is not legally binding on activities in other states.
Thank you. Deputy Daly, 1 minute.
Minister, if you have met with the ISPCA, you'll know that they and the Irish Blue Cross and indeed Dogs Trust are implacably opposed to the export of greyhounds to China, and your response today is contradictory, as indeed it has been from your predecessors, because on the one hand we've been told previously, as you've tried to do today, that once the appropriate animal health and welfare certificate requirements are met in transit, that it doesn't really matter what happens to them at the end of their journey. But then contradicting that is the fact that the department in March of this year blocked the Irish Greyhound Board from exporting dogs to China over animal welfare concerns, and the reality is that this practice is continuing. It poses huge danger to the dogs involved. It has now been internationally highlighted by animal welfare organisations, and indeed it's got quite a lot of global attention. And really what Deputy O'Sullivan's question is seeking for you to do is to intervene in this situation and play a role. And to be honest, you can. Because your predecessor has done it before, but I think the circumstances mean that you should do it in this, particularly to be in line with the 2001 Welfare of Greyhounds Bill, which states that anybody who trades, transport, rears, trains a greyhound has to have due regard to a code of practice which includes them being traded and transported. So the final destination is a key part in that, and if they're going to end in a destination whereby they are going to be discarded, mauled and end up undoubtedly dead, well then we should stop that practice.
The time has elapsed, Minister. I'd ask you to correspond with the Deputy on that question. Before proceeding to leave